A day's slate has to be read in 3 layers for every match. First, what the model says. Second, what the qualitative football context says. And third, what the final betting conclusion is after combining both. Let's go match by match. We start in Germany with Wehen Wiesbaden against TSV Havelse. The model likes the home side. It sees a clear attacking gap, with Wehen projected around 2.2 expected goals and Havelse below 1. The win probability also leans heavily toward the home team. In pure model terms, this is one of the cleaner one-way matches on the board. The model's message is simple. Wehen should control more of the game, create more chances, and finish above Havelse over 90 minutes. Now the qualitative side. That also leans toward Wehen, but not without warning signs. Havelse have one of the weakest defensive profiles in the group. They have struggled badly away from home, and they do not have much resistance once matches start going against them. That supports the model. But Wehen are not coming in on perfect form. Their recent run has not been sharp, and that matters because a short-priced home favorite with patchy momentum is never completely clean. So the football logic still supports Wehen, but it supports the result more than it supports a reckless handicap approach. My final prediction is Wehen Wiesbaden to win. This is a correct side pick rather than a huge value pick. The most likely script is Wehen doing enough, not necessarily destroying the game. Next, VfB Stuttgart 2 against Ulm. The model sees an open match. The expected goals profile is high enough to support over 2.5, and the general model structure says defensive mistakes and transition moments could create a game with multiple scoring events. On raw numbers alone, this is a goals match rather than a side match. Now the qualitative read. This is where the game becomes messy. One version of the qualitative analysis says defensive absences and game state pressure could help the over, but the stronger counterpoint is Ulm's attacking weakness. Their recent scoring profile is poor, and if one side is not reliably contributing, then the over becomes fragile even if the model likes the total. This is the key issue. The model is pricing openness, but the football context asks a blunt question. If Ulm do not score, where do the 3 goals come from? My final prediction is pass. If forced into a scoreline, I would lean towards something like 1-1 or 2-1, but this is not a match I want as a serious total play. Next, Umraniyaspor against Sakaryaspor. The model likes the home side. It gives Umraniyaspor the higher expected goals number, the stronger win probability, and some support for a game that could stretch beyond 2.5 goals. In pure model terms, the home side has the edge and the market is offering a playable price. Now, the qualitative layer. This is where confidence drops. One version of the football read supports the home side because of home conditions and Sakaryaspor's weaker road profile, but the sharper negative signal is Umraniyaspor's scoring drought. A team that has struggled to score across recent matches is not the kind of team you want to back aggressively on a home win ticket. Add the pressure of a lower table match, where fear of losing often becomes more important than the desire to dominate, and the model's home win idea becomes much less attractive. My final prediction is not home win. The better lean is toward draw or even a lower event match than the model expects. This is one of the clearer cases where the qualitative reality weakens the raw numbers. Now Saarbrücken against Alemannia Aachen. The model likes goals. It sees both teams contributing enough attacking output to make over 2.5 a live angle. The projected balance of the game is fairly even, but the overall shape points toward chances at both ends. The model's logic is basically that this is not a sterile tactical contest. It is a game with enough instability to create goals. Now the qualitative side. Aachen arrive with momentum. Their recent form is strong, their confidence is strong, and the broader emotional state around Saarbrücken is much less convincing. That supports the idea that Aachen can influence the game positively. But the qualitative read does not fully love over 2.5 as the cleanest market. It often points more naturally toward both teams to score or toward Aachen on the double chance. The reason is that form and emotional pressure may shape who controls the match, but they do not automatically guarantee a 3-goal game. My final prediction is action or draw as the cleaner football read, with both teams to score as a better goals angle than a straight over. If you force me onto the model market only, I call over 2.5 playable but not ideal. Now Göztepe against Galatasaray. The model's main message is under 2.5 goals, even though Galatasaray still rate as the stronger team on brand strength and baseline quality. The expected goals profile is not explosive. The numbers do not describe a free-flowing attacking match. They describe a controlled game with limited margin. That already makes the under attractive before the football context is added. Now, the qualitative analysis. This is where the under gets much stronger. Galatasaray come into the match with important absences, and those absences matter structurally, not just individually. Missing attacking and balance pieces reduces fluency, reduces depth, and increases pressure on the remaining stars to carry the game. On the other side, Göztepe are a compact home team with enough discipline to make life difficult for a favorite that is not arriving in perfect rhythm. This is exactly the kind of spot where the bigger club can still win, but do it in a narrow and uncomfortable way. My final prediction is under 2.5 goals. This is one of the cleanest matches on the slate. The most likely score band is 0-1 or 1-1. Now Panserekos against Tripolis. The model, at least in its more direct betting output, points toward an away win. That is the headline signal. In raw model terms, Astras are being treated as the better value side in the result market. So if you only looked at the generated bet output, you would think this is a viable away angle. Now the qualitative side. This is where the model runs into a wall. The historical pattern, the psychological matchup, and the away profile all work against Astras. Panserekos have had this opponent's number far too often for that to be ignored, and Astras away from home have not looked trustworthy enough to deserve confident support. In other words, this is one of those spots where the model may be reading general team quality, but the real football context says the matchup itself is toxic for the favorite. My final prediction is Panserekos or draw. If you want a side, it is the home side with protection. I do not back the away win here. Now AE Larissa against Panathinaikos. The model leans under 2.5. This is not a high-event projection. The structure of the game, in model terms, is narrow, moderate, and short on attacking explosion. It is the kind of fixture where the total is more interesting than the side. Now the qualitative side. That mostly agrees but with limited enthusiasm. These are not teams that inspire attacking confidence, and the wider context points toward caution rather than ambition. The problem is price. When a low-event read becomes obvious, the market often compresses the value out of it. So yes, the under makes football sense, but it is also the sort of pick that can be correct in direction without being a great betting opportunity. My final prediction is under 2.5 goals. It is still the right football lean, just not one I would call explosive value. Now Atromitos against Kifisia. The model again leans under 2.5. The expected goals split is close, the result market is not wide open, and the total suggests a match with more control than chaos. This is a classic moderate output game in model language. Now the qualitative read. That supports the under. These play-out type environments tend to reward caution. Teams do not want to lose control early, and that usually slows the game down. Atromitos also have the more stable profile, while Kifisia are not the type of away side that naturally turns matches into end-to-end contests unless game state forces them there. So this is one of those matches where the under is supported both by numbers and by the emotional structure of the fixture. My final prediction is under 2.5 goals. The most natural score range is 1-0, 1-1, or 0-0. Now SC Verl against Hansa Rostock. The model likes the home side. It gives Verl the better outcome profile, and the direct betting output makes home win the main angle. This is not because Rostock are weak. It is because Verl's home profile is strong enough to clear the threshold for a playable result pick. Now the qualitative side. That supports the home team as well, though not without danger. Verl have been very productive at home. They know how to impose attacking rhythm in this setting, and this is a match with real meaning. But Rostock are not passengers. They have enough road quality to make this a real test, which is why this does not belong in the same confidence tier as the strongest pick on the board. Still, if you combine home structure, attacking identity, and match importance, Verl do make the most sense. My final prediction is SC Verl to win. For a safer angle, Verl draw no bet also makes sense. But if I have to give the main call, it is home win. Finally, Ingolstadt against Victoria Köln. The model leans over 2.5 goals. The expected goals profile is not extreme, but it is high enough to justify a 3-goal conversation, and the generated betting angle pushes toward the total rather than the side. The model's logic is that both teams can contribute enough attacking moments to get there. Now the qualitative side. This is another mixed match. Some of the football read supports goals because of the head-to-head scoring pattern and because both sides have shown enough attacking life to make a multi-goal game realistic. But other parts of the qualitative layer point toward inconsistency, absences, and unstable form. So once again, the real issue is not whether over 2.5 can land. It can. The issue is whether the football context supports it strongly enough to make it trustworthy. I do not think it does. My final prediction is pass. If forced into a goals angle, both teams to score or a soft overlean is understandable, but this is not one of the stronger matches on the board. So the final combined view of the slate is this. The cleanest match remains Göztepe against Galatasaray, under 2.5 goals. The strongest result side picks are Wehen Wiesbaden to win and SC Verl to win. The more stable low-event read is Atromitos against Kifisia, under 2.5 goals. The matches where the model gets challenged hardest by the qualitative football layer are Umurniespor against Sakaryaspor, Panathinaikos against Asteras Tripolis, and Stuttgart 2 against Ulm. So if this card is being played seriously, the right approach is not to chase every fixture, it is to stay selective. Back the matches where the numbers and the football story are actually aligned.